What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Open Ultra League submitted to the channel by Cutlassboy, who's running Regice, Haxorus and a level 50 Fraxure. This is actually a Pokemon I had planned on building myself, but after some recent very questionable investments I can't afford to do so, so I'm very grateful for this submission. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What's the most underrated middle stage evolution for the Go Battle League in Pokemon Go? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Regice into Shadow Swampert, a fairly neutral matchup. I assume eventually we will swap into one of the dragons as it is a much better matchup, but the opponent's going to go straight for a Hydro Cannon. We let the first one go through, gonna go for that Blizzard, and this will do a ton of damage to the Shadow Swampert, so we do grab a shield. We now swap into our Fraxure, we bait out a Shadow Charizard, and we are running Aqua Tail, probably for this matchup in particular. It does so much damage, and we're able to fully Dragon Tail, farm them down before they even make it to a Dragon Claw, and that is actually insane. We can now go for a Dragon Claw into the Shadow Wall Rain that comes in, and hopefully we make it to another charge move, but we don't quite get there in time. So this Wall Rain does have a ton of energy, but it doesn't really matter. We can come in with the Regice, let this move go through. The opponent actually baits with an Icicle Spear. We're very happy with that. We even snipe them with the Haxorus with that counter damage. We can now go for Breaking Swipe, and this is going to be game over for the opponent. It does connect. We've still got 2 shields remaining. The opponent recognizing there was nothing they can do, and they do concede the match. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Poliwrath in the lead. This time we do swap out instantly into the Fraxure. Gonna go for that Dragon Claw straight away. Early pressure, and we do land it. So now at this point I think we can shield once. We will have to tank at least one Ice Punch, but we should just be able to fully Dragon Tail farm them down. So we're gonna let the second Ice Punch go through. It does a ton of damage. The opponent recognizing they would get farmed down, so they swap into Greedent, but they are running Bullet Seed. So if they go for the farm down in this matchup, we should be able to make it to another Dragon Claw in time, and this is really going to chunk this Greedent. We've got them incredibly low, and actually we nearly fully farm them down there, and we come in with the Haxorus. We get the counter through, so even though they've got so much loaded energy, they're only able to get off a one body slam, so that's a really smart play by Cutlassboy, and we're able to fully counter farm down the Poliwrath that comes back in. They come in with a Shadow Drapion, and this is once again going to be game over, as we can spam these Breaking Swipes at an incredible pace here. We go for a second one, debuffing them for the second time. The opponent does have back-to-back charge moves loaded. They go for a Crunch. It does some decent damage considering it is double debuffed, but it doesn't matter. We've got a full health Regice in the back, and we just have to make it to a Blizzard before they make it to like 4 more Crunches, which we will easily be able to do. And we do get to that Blizzard. We overfarm just a little bit for the sake of it. Wasn't really necessary, but Blizzard takes out the Drapion, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, Battle of the Regis, and it's very refreshing to see that neither of them were Registeel in that matchup. We swap into the Fraxure, and we do bait out a Wall Rain, which is unfortunate. We land that Dragon Claw, but they're already at an Icicle Spear, and we're just going to let this move go through. Icicle Spear does take us out from that health range, which is unfortunate, but I guess it doesn't really matter. We're going to come back in with the Regice, go for the Thunder before they make it to an Earthquake, and now I assume the opponent's going to wait out their Switch Clock and come in with the Regirock, and that's exactly what they do. They're already at a Stone Edge. Regirock is incredibly spammy. We tank it, and we swap into our Haxorus. We bait out a Trevenant, and we are running Night Slash, so this will be some nice super effective damage, grabbing a shield and getting the boost, which is absolutely huge. And at this point I think there's no way the opponent lets this next charge move go through, so we could bait with the Breaking Swipe, and we're going to do exactly that. This Breaking Swipe does grab the final shield, and it debuffs their attack. They also overfarm, allowing us to get to another Night Slash in time. Night Slash takes out the Trevenant, and now all we have to do is make it to one final Breaking Swipe before they get to back-to-back Stone Edges, and we should be able to take this game, because with the boost, this Breaking Swipe will be enough damage to take out the Regirock, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see Galvantula in the lead, so another fairly neutral matchup in the lead. We're going to swap into our Fraxure, baiting out a Shadow Dragonite. We're going to go for that Dragon Claw, and this will grab an early shield advantage in the matchup, and the opponent will be able to farm us down, but they choose not to, instead throwing their energy. That's a massive mistake from the opponent, although they are not in range for us to lock on farm us down, so we have to go for a Thunder to take them out, which is actually quite unfortunate. We do go for that Thunder, taking out the Dragonite, but the opponent's going to come back in with their Galvantula, go for a lunge. That will debuff our attack, but we're still able to make it to a Blizzard in time, and this Blizzard, even debuffed, will nearly take out the Galvantula. We swap into our Haxorus, trying to get the snipe, but unfortunately they're already at another lunge. They do debuff our attack, but they come in with an Ampharos. Unfortunately, we throw on alignment there, giving them a full Volt Switch worth of energy for free, but I don't think it really matters in this matchup. We are going to shield the first charge move. It's just a Thunder Punch bait, and that makes me think that they're not running Brutal Swing, so they're going to have to go for either a Focus Blast or a Zap Cannon to take us out, but they're not able to get there in time, and this Breaking Swipe will be enough damage from this range to take out the Ampharos. We counter, farm down Galvantula, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see a Scizor in the lead. Not a great matchup, but we are very bulky, so we're actually just going to stay in this matchup initially, tank a charge move, and then we're going to swap into our Fraxure. The opponent's going to respond with a Gyarados. We can go for a Dragon Claw here, and this will do some nice damage to the Gyarados, and actually I think we might be able to fully Dragon Tail farm them down here if we use one shield, and that's exactly what we're going to do. They get the debuff, but we're still able to farm them down, coming out with an Aqua Tail loaded to throw into the Scizor that comes back in. It's not going to do too much damage, but it's some nice chip, and we can wait the Switch Hook out and come in with our shiny Haxorus. We are going to let the first charge move go through, as we know that Night Slash could potentially boost. They did get a boost, but then they swap into their Solgaleo. We're going to go for a Breaking Swipe bait, grabbing the shield, which is massive. And now, unfortunately, we do get outpaced to the charge move, as we did throw at an awkward time. We're now going to clear the debuff, come in with Regice. We're taking super effective damage from the Fire Spins, but they are non-stab, so they don't actually add up that much. The opponent goes for a Psychic Fangs instead of going for the Iron Head. I think that's a massive mistake, as now we make it to a Thunder, and they still have to throw another charge move to take us out here. Otherwise, I think we're making it to another Thunder. So the opponent does go for that Psychic Fangs. We can come in with the Haxorus here, farm to back-to-back charge moves. No, we actually don't quite get there, but it doesn't matter, I don't believe. Night Slash takes out the Solgaleo. We make it to a second Night Slash into the Scizor, and from this range, it will be enough damage after a little bit of lag here from the opponent to take out the Scizor, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we see Talonflame in the lead, and we're actually going to stay in this matchup, and we do make it to a Thunder before they make it to a Flame Charge, so that is good to know. And we do grab an early shield, we then swap, we catch the charge move, probably a Flame Charge, and we get a Dragon Tail through. So if they stay in this matchup, we make it to an Aqua Tail before they make it to another charge move, and that does a lot of damage even though it's only 35 energy. We do bait out a Giratina. Unfortunately, they do just barely outpace us to a charge move. Dragon Claw takes out the Fraxure, but we can now come back in with the Regice, and we will be able to make it to a Blizzard. They can go for an Ancient Power here. I do apologise, as a plane is taking off like literally right next to my house, so you can probably hear that. It is very loud, but we go for the Blizzard, and Blizzard takes out the Giratina. They come in with a Scizor, we make it to a Thunder in time, and this will do a lot of damage, or grab the final shield from the opponent. We do grab that final shield, and now we come in with our Haxorus. We can shield up this charge move, go for a Night Slash, and hopefully just fully counter, farm down the Scizor from this range, and throw a charge move into the Talonflame. But let's see, we go for that Night Slash, and the opponent is able to make it to another charge move. We're actually going to let this move go through, and the opponent comes in with the Talonflame, but we're able to make it to the Breaking Swipe in time. This will take out the Talonflame, and we're able to counter, farm down the Scizor, and take that game. Into the next battle, we see a Giratina in the lead. They're running Dragon Breath, so this will add up over time, but it's not going to do too much up against this very bulky Regice. They go for a Dragon Claw, that's fine with us, not even an Ancient Power. We're now going to go for that Blizzard, and Blizzard does grab a shield from the Giratina, as expected, as Blizzard would pretty much one-shot from full health. They go for another Dragon Claw, we will be able to make it to another Blizzard, but the opponent catches onto an Aggron, I believe that was. Yes, incredible catch by the opponent, but unfortunately we're able to fully counter, farm them down before the Aggron even made it to a charge move. They now come in with a shiny Rayquaza, which is cool to see, as I did feature both Haxorus and Rayquaza in a recent video, so it's cool to see them going up against each other, both in the very nice black shiny forms. The opponent doesn't commit to the farm down. I think that's a massive mistake there, as they do throw a breaking swipe. We're able to then fully farm them down with one Dragon Tail from our Fraxure, go for a Dragon Claw into the Giratina coming back in. That does a ton of damage. We swap back into the Regice for no reason whatsoever, and we do make it to a Thunder in time, and even resisted from this range, it will take out the Giratina, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we see Walrein in the lead, so a pretty good matchup for the Regice, and the opponent tries to catch a Thunder there. We could be running Focus Blast or Earthquake though, so we might grab a shield. Unfortunately, we don't grab that shield, but we can now come in with our Haxorus. We go for a Night Sash for some reason. Both charge moves are resisted, but Breaking Swipe has a guaranteed attack drop, and it is stab, so it would do more damage, so I definitely think that's a misplay here, but it is what it is. We're going to shield up a second Sacred Sword, get the counter farm down, but this Walrein does have energy banked, and they're going to be able to go for an Icicle Spear straight away, taking out the Haxorus, but we're fine with that. We're going to come in with the Regice, go for a Thunder into the Walrein, and this will do a ton of damage if it lands, which it does land, and now they come in with a Giratina. The opponent does overfarm, so we can go for a Dragon Claw straight away, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and it's actually a CMP tie as well. We're going to shield the first Dragon Claw here. I do like that, as we're forcing them to throw another charge move. Otherwise, if we let that first one go through, they could just fully commit to Shadow Claw farming us down and coming out with a ton of loaded energy. But here, Dragon Claw actually takes out the Giratina, and now it's all up to Regice. Can we beat a Walrein with a shield disadvantage? They go for an Earthquake here. They have to land a second Earthquake, whereas we can go straight for these Thunders. This first Thunder will be grabbing the final shield. Can we make it in time? Yes, we make it to the Thunder, and this will be enough damage to take out the Walrein, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we see a Charizard in the lead, and they are running wing attacks, so once again going to stay in this lead matchup and go straight for a Thunder. This should grab an early shield from the Charizard, and it does exactly that. We swap into Fraxure, and the opponent's going to throw their charge move here. They go for a Blast Burn, which is resisted, although you wouldn't know it based on that damage, although definitely you should be going for Dragon Claw, as it is super effective. The opponent then swaps and catches an Aqua Tail onto Obstagoon, which is unfortunate, as we would prefer to go for Dragon Claw, and what's also unfortunate is that they fully counter farm us down just before we make it to another charge move. We're now going to let the first move go through. They go for Obstruct, doesn't do much damage, but it does buff their defense, allowing them to make it to another charge move before getting countered farm down. And they do go for a Night Slash this time around. They're going to come back in with the Charizard. We go for a Breaking Swipe here. This will debuff their attack, so if they do shield it up, we should live a Dragon Claw, but it doesn't matter. We make it to another Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe nearly takes them out. We go for a Snipe with the Regice, but the opponent swaps out instantly into a Samurott, but we've got Thunder. Thunder does big damage to the Samurott, and we should be able to easily tank a charge move here. Even if they went for like Mega Horn, which they do go for, it still just isn't enough damage. We make it to Thunder number 2. This will be taking out the Samurott, and we should be able to lock on, farm down the Charizard, and take that game. Into the next game, we see Giratina in the lead, and the opponent's going to swap into a Drapion. Now, we don't have the strongest response here, so we're going to stay in initially. We can tank this energy quite well on the Regice. They don't get the debuff. We're now going to go for a Thunder, not going for that Blizzard. It does connect, so landing the Blizzard would have been much nicer, but we can come in with our Fraxure. We can let any one move go through, although Crunch does a ton of damage. We go for a full farm down, but they make it to a second charge move, so we will shield this up, but we're going to come out with nearly back-to-back moves loaded. So let's see what the opponent wants to come in with. They come in with a Blaziken, so we're going to go for an Aqua Tail here, and this If it does land, we'll do big damage to the Blaziken. You wouldn't know it's just a non-stab 35 energy charge move, but we do grab a shield from the Blaziken. We go for the snipe, but they barely make it, and this is enough energy for a Brave Bird, which they full send, so we did have to shield that up. But now we've got a ton of energy loaded as well. We can go for Breaking Swipe, and that does connect into the Giratina. We make it to a second Breaking Swipe just about in time on the CMP tie, grabbing the final shield. The opponent should have definitely let that move go through, because now all we have to do is land a Blizzard into this Giratina, and it will be game over for the opponent. They can make it to a charge move. They could be running Ancient Power. It doesn't matter. We've double debuffed their attack. We make it to the Blizzard in time, and this Blizzard will be enough damage to take out the Giratina, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we see a Magnezone in the lead. Not the best matchup, but we could potentially run Earthquake or Focus Blast. So I would have liked to see if we stayed in that matchup, if we could have grabbed an early shield. But we swap into our Fraxure. They can't really go for Wild Charge as it is resisted, although it would do more damage. So they're stuck going for Mirror Shots, which don't do an awful lot of damage whatsoever. We go for an Aqua Tail, and the opponent lets it go through. They swap into Giratina. They go for a full farm down, but we do make it to a Dragon Claw first, and we grab a shield from the opponent. So that's huge, as Dragon Claw would not take them out, and it would not put them into range where we could lock on farm them down either. But now all we have to do is go for a Blizzard in this matchup, and we've seen it several times already. That Blizzard will easily take out the Giratina from this range. The opponent's going to spam out these Dragon Claws. We make it to the Blizzard, and this Blizzard will be taking out the Giratina. The opponent comes in with Obstagoon, so we swap into our Haxorus, and the opponent's going to swap into their Magnezone. We're actually going to undercharge this, and I think the opponent has just rage quit out of this battle, as there's not a lot they can do up against a 2-shielded Haxorus with 2 Pokemon very weak to counter in the back. So yeah, they have definitely just rage quit the app here. We're able to fully counter, farm down the Obstagoon, and take that game. And into the final battle of this video, we lead into Empoleon, so a pretty decent matchup as we are running Thunder, although if we were running Focus Blast or Earthquake, it doesn't really matter. All of them would be super effective to the Empoleon, and as a result, we do grab an early shield in this matchup. Now we let the first move go through, we make it to another Thunder, but we're over farming massively, and we don't get the Thunder off before they throw. I definitely think that's a misplay, but we're now going to farm to 100 energy, going for that Thunder, and this will be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. Now we swap into the Fraxure, we bait out a Gyarados, and we can go for the Dragon Claw here. That's going to do a lot of damage, and they were slow to swap out, so we make it to another Dragon Claw in time before this Gyarados gets to a charge move. We take out the Gyarados, and the opponent's going to wait out the Switch Clock before coming back in with the Empoleon. They do get a very nice Waterfall farm down, but we're going to come in with our Haxorus here, and we're actually going to let the first charge move go through. It is the Drill Peck. They did have back-to-back charge moves loaded, so we had to let at least one go through. We shield up the second Drill Peck. They've got a Swampert in the back. We don't quite have enough energy to go for back-to-back Breaking Swipes, so we go for the first one, swap into Regice, forcing them to throw their energy, because if they don't, we're going to make it to the Blizzard, and Blizzard takes out the Swampert. They come back in with Empoleon, farm us down, but only to be farmed down by the Haxorus, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.